Good morning, everybody. Hope you had a great evening last night. Another wonderful, wonderful, wonderful spring evening in Wichita. Got back from the gym about 7 o'clock last night to about 70-degree weather and enjoyed some time on the deck. So hopefully it's working out that way for you too. Okay, the financials are being buried in front of the opening, and quite often this happens where the low is set before the day session opens. And the reason for this is they just kind of clear the deck. They get everything out of the way. Now, it could be twofold. One, 7-year auction manipulation. The other one could be the GDP number, which is forecast at plus 1% from 2.4 the end of last year. Could be higher than expected. This one could come in higher than expected. The deflator's at 0.5%. Somebody always knows this number is given out at 4 p.m. the day before it's announced to over 100 government employees, secretary level, president of the White House, et cetera, so they all write their statements. We have pending home sales, and the housing numbers have been better than anticipated at plus 1%. So both of these numbers could be greater than forecast. Then we have the FOMC. And the FOMC strategy policy is to be unchanged. And the market is expecting dovish statements. They won't completely eliminate the ability to raise interest rates in June. It will be data-driven, but most people now expect they can't raise interest rates until September or October. And we've been living with a window of June till October pretty much all year. So this will be number 1 priority. This will be number 2 priority as far as the broad markets go. Then we've got dealer manipulation for the 7 years. So we're going to be watching pane number 3 on screen number 4 pretty closely. This X period low, when they blow it out before the day session opens, is pretty typical. So we're at our support number 1. It's 16 plus or minus. Then it's 12, 12.5 for number 2, and then basically 8, and then the buck. So I think we can go a little bit lower, so we're going to put 9 to 13 as buy 1. 1 to 5 is buy 2. But we're going to put 16 as a question mark right here because we could be seeing the lows made right now. A lot of it's going to be news dependent. On the sell side, structurally, this 2024 area, that's where the spill came from. So 19 to 23 is going to be sell 1. 27 to 31 is going to be sell 2. And we'll adjust those for the news. Didn't see any more internationally over the Iranian Marshall Islands flagged ship, which is really a part of the United States Protectorate out in the Pacific. But this administration won't do anything to confront Iran and screw up their nuclear deal. And Iran knows it, so they're going to do anything that they want. They're going to see how far they can push the U.S. on this. And if you're in the shoes, you'd be doing the same thing too. I mean, there's no cost. Okay, we're at 28 now. We've run it down. I think we can go a little bit lower. 21.25, buy 1. If the GDP number comes in higher than forecast, we should see a little more selling, 13 to 17 for buy 2. The knob spread is collapsing. We're at 29, so 3 to 7, give it a little bit of room. But pick up this area right here, and then 11 to 15. But if we don't take out this X period low, we're going to shift gears. We're going to start thinking long, not short. So because of this selling, I think there is one short, but we come in like 2 ticks above the low. We really, at that point, if you're really patient, you can trade it from the long side. May not have a lot of volatility because of the FOMC, and if you look at the overnight volumes, we probably won't have a lot of volatility once the GDP news is absorbed. Okay, gold was off overnight. It's hard to see it breaking 1200 with what's going on around the world. Could be a little bit lower, so support is at 5, maybe stops below 3 to 5 will be buy 1. And then 98 to the buck will be buy 2. On the sell side, 10 to 12, and 15 to 17. Expect this one will motor and move sideways. Now, there's a school of thought out there that New York always knows. The COMEX is a New York exchange. There have been many, many instances in front of the major news announcement of gold moving directionally 15 to 30 seconds before the news announcement is made, with knowing what the news announcement was, making a lot of money off that spike off the news. So we have to be cognizant of that. So watching gold right before the news hits at 8:30 Eastern could tell you what the news is going to be. It is a risky trade. You don't know with 100% certainty what the news is going to be. Well, I would tell me, Fitz, that maybe they expect the GDP number to come in greater than 1%. Is what I would tell me. The FOMC policy is supposed to be unchanged, so. Also, the German Bund got hit pretty hard because of the growth in business loans. So it could be a couple of factors, but my guess is that they're telling us the GDP number will be higher than 1%. Okay, the euro is up. I think if you go back and look at the negotiations, the way Greece handled it, they put a fire burner, a fire eater, fire breather in there, and they've removed that finance minister from the negotiations. And he was out there kind of like in a shock and awe deal to say anything and do anything and see if Greece could improve their bargaining position, and it didn't work. So he's been set aside, and they've got a more stable team. And then last night everybody was announcing that pretty close to the deal, and Greece would like that deal done by tomorrow so they can make payroll. A lot of incentive to do that. So we may have a Greek announcement coming into tomorrow. If there weren't news, we'd be trying to sell 25s to 50s, and we'd be trying to buy 50s. Plus or minus on this. We're above 110 right now. It is a round number, but we'll get a news spike if the news is off of the forecast, and it looks like the GDP number might be higher than forecast. I mean, if you had to make a guess, it would be higher than forecast because we went from 2.4 to 1%, but I don't know what the number is. It's just a guess, just based on the way the market is playing. So buying this basically 50 area, give or take. Selling 25 to 50 is where you'd be if it was a no-news situation. The market is up on expectations of a Greek deal. Now, when the Greek deal hits, my guess is this market will sell, and that's been the pattern. Rallies into a potential deal, sells when the deal, whatever it happens to be, or when the cash flow problems for Greece are solved for the next 3 months, then it sells. And Germany likes it because they export more products, which means the EU likes it, and if they don't like it, tough, according to Germany. All eyes are counting on Germany, the United States, and China to pull the world through a contracting economy. Okay, we said it's a 58 plus, 56 minus market, and we're pretty close to 57, right in the middle. So we know there's pretty good support against the buck down here, so 56, 56 and a quarter will be buy one. Buy two, 55.50. On the sell side, having troubles getting through 57 and a quarter, so 57 and a quarter, 57.50, sell one, and 58 plus or minus for sell two. Okay, the E-mini. Bad news is good news. So if the GDP comes in at 1%, the Fed can't raise interest rates, buy stocks. And that's where we find ourselves. So if it comes in higher than forecast, probably off a little bit, but the tendency is for this market to rally into the FOMC announcement. We saw that yesterday. So here we are at 2106. We are pointed a little bit lower. We do have news, so 2100, 2102. We'll adjust it after the news. Will be buy one. 95, 97, buy two. If the GDP number is higher than forecast and the financials are acting like it, we should see some weakness here, but I don't think the market will break because of the FOMC announcement. Then 13 to 15, sell one. 19 to 21, sell two. And it is news. So the GDP, once again, 1%. Deflator, plus 0.5%. Pending home sales, plus 1%. That number could come in higher than forecast. The housing numbers have been pretty strong of late. Then FOMC, unchanged, dovish language. It'll take about 20 minutes to get everything up and posted. I'm going to get busy on that. We'll be back for an update after the news.